Good evening, everybody. How are you guys doing? It's been such a long time since we've done one of our Digipreneur interviews, and today we have some special guests. We got a really good topic. We're going to be talking to the JTDA, the Jamaica Technology and Digital Alliance, and they have a lot of things that they are looking to spread throughout the Caribbean that is going to benefit all of our entrepreneurs and startups in the IT sector. And I mean, I had to go out and get the brass themselves because we need it right from the horse's mouth. Everything that we're going to be talking about today, we got to get it fresh from them. All right. So what I want to do is I want to bring in our special guest for this evening. All right. And then we're going to jump right into the conversation about the JTDA and what they are bringing for the Caribbean. Okay. Can we do that, folks? I think we can. So we have in the building for our Digipreneur live today, we have three special guests. We have the incoming president, Adrian Dunkley. Now, Adrian is a technologist and a decision scientist. Whew, I gotta be one of those one day. With over 12 years of experience in data science and AI across the finance, travel, retail, marketing, risk management, and customer experience. Listen, it's a pleasure to have him. But we got some other guests. We got some other heavy hitters with us. We have the new vice president of the JTDA, Twitty-Ann Thomas. Twitty-Ann is an experienced CEO and sales expert with a demonstrated history of achieving revenue growth. And in a time like this, we want revenue. She has a history in growing revenue through innovative thinking, sales operational optimization, and empowerment. There's that big E, that E that we love. And no stranger to the Digipreneur platform is the former JTDA boss herself, the woman of tech who was named top 50, Miss Stacey Hines. Stacey, how are you doing? Twitty-Ann, Adrian, how are you guys doing this evening?
Good.
We're doing great. Thanks for having us.
No, of course. Listen, I'm excited because every single time we hear, so I'm over in Trinidad, we have listeners from throughout the rest of the Caribbean, but every time we hear Jamaica's name, Jamaica's launching something. It's some big initiative. It's some IPO. It's something that the rest of us in the Caribbean wish we could either have here in our countries too, or that you guys can spread the love and bring it for us so we can partake in said initiatives that you guys have been bubbling in Jamaica. So I know you guys have some great things in store for us today. But just to get started, how are you guys doing? Adrian, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's hot.
Twitty-Ann, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks. Very good.
Lovely. And Stacey, how going, Stacey?
Why, I tell you, Keron, I'm happy to be back with the Digipreneur family. I have my celebratory glass with me because we're bringing good cheer to Trinidad and Guyana and Barbados and St. Lucia and everywhere that listen to Digipreneur. We're coming.
That's how you're talking about. Lovely. Honestly, Stacey, it is always a pleasure. It is always a pleasure. All right. So for this evening, for this conversation, like I said, I know you guys have been cooking up some initiatives that you guys are now bringing throughout the rest of the Caribbean. So we want to get right into that, right? Now, first things first, in case people have not heard of the JTDA, can you guys dive into what is the JTDA? Twitty-Ann, would you like to kick us off tonight?
Yeah, sure. So the JTDA stands for Jamaica Technology and Digital Alliance. What we seek to do is to enable and empower IT professionals through the use of technology. So the role of the Alliance is really to promote ICT industry and the effective and efficient utilization of IT for the benefit of Jamaica. It is really an organization to play the role of shaping the technology future of Jamaica. Like our vision says, is to enable people, businesses by providing access, influence, and empowerment through technology.
I love
Stacey, you want
it.
to add to that?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the key things that we want to elevate, which is why this conversation is coming to this platform, is that the JTDA is an alliance. And the reason why it was created or rebranded as an alliance, because originally we were considered the Jamaica Computer Society. That's who we were for 44 years. And then we came in and we turned up things, right? Because we're now 2022 and 2020 at the time, and we have to do some things differently. And
Right.
we recognize that the Caribbean is 40 million strong. And we believe that we can make IT good for all of the Caribbean, not just for Jamaica. So that any access, influence, and empowerment through technology is now what we want to take to the world, well, to the Caribbean world. Yeah.
I love it. Adrian, what are you hoping as the new incoming president? What kind of impact are you hoping that the JTDA can bring under your leadership?
Well, I'm gonna say I'm pretty lucky. Stacey put some things in that the market wasn't even ready for. Pre-planned things that people haven't even thought of it. So kind of like I just sliding into a sock right now, putting it in a shoe and just walking.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
I want to build on the work of, like Stacey said, the alliance, and sure, technology isn't just type computer and stuff. It's all about people. It's all about success and achieving objectives, and technology makes us more human. So we're trying to get that out there, as well as bringing the young persons in, developing them, making sure that everybody has that opportunity to experience. So like you've developed basically
Right,
into this new profession that hasn't even been around for like 10 years.
right.
Showing the young persons that they want to be in AI, they want to be in cybersecurity, they want to be in the metaverse as a profession. Showing them that it's not just an option, it's an option that you can use to provide for yourself.
And I like that because I think, especially with what you just ended off on, when we are hearing metaverse, NFTs, a lot of these things are still buzzwords. People haven't even wrapped their minds around, where the technology is. And I hear, like, even in Trinidad, we have a couple of groups who have started to really push hard on, Web 3.0. And I'm like, I love the fact that we're having these conversations, but we still have so much to teach. People still have to grasp Web 2.0. But again, I think there's so much opportunity. And the fact that you guys are doubling down on this and really pushing the education is needed because it's a wild, wild west out here. And, people don't really know exactly what they can do with this stuff until an organization like you guys comes around and start to show us and teach us and show us what the possibilities are. Right?
Right.
So, Stacey, let me ask you something, Stacey. I have a question for you, Stacey. So tell me a bit about how you guys are serving your members and your community through that vision that the JTDA has started.
Well, it's twofold, and I know that you have. We're probably going to talk about this a little bit later on, so I'll talk about one aspect of that first, because really and truly, persons aren't going to want to necessarily commit to something unless there's something in it for them, right? So
Right.
ultimately, we want to make it clear that there are benefits available to you, and I'm certainly an example of those benefits, right?
Right.
So for the professionals, for the individuals who are in the tech field, or maybe you are in university studying tech, right? The JTDA or the Alliance is a great place for you to come and get supplemental training, whether it's through online courses or we do events during the course of the year. As you remember, last year we had BizTech.
Right.
That's our biggest event every year, and there's always just so much to learn and grasp. And
Right.
it's great to get that kind of insight from the real world. It's
Right.
one thing when you're in the classroom and you're learning the theory, but when you're actually hearing from the technocrats themselves, it's a whole other story, right? So there's a training, then there's the mentorship, right? Because you have a lot of persons who are sitting in the seats that Have been there, done that, wear the t-shirt, write the book. Literally, we have several authors, tech authors,
Right.
global tech authors, right? And mentorship opportunities are there, building that network, creating community, which is something that I feel that we don't necessarily do very well on a broad scale as techies. You might find your little bubbles like your developers group or your AI group or your security group, but
Right.
we need to create that ecosystem,
To
Right.
and
bring everybody
so
together.
say again.
To bring
It,
everybody together. So
yeah, it allows you to be plugged into that ecosystem. One of the things that I certainly saw a lot of persons take advantage of during my presidency, and I still anticipate seeing that, is having access to sit on boards. So the JTA, and I'm sure other computer societies, a key responsibility is actually lobbying and policy setting for the industry as a whole.
Right.
So being able to participate in that at a board level, when you're a member, you get access to that. So we actually get requests from ministry for persons to sit on boards when we're writing policy, when we have acts that are coming up like the Cyber Crimes Act or the Privacy and Protection Act, those last two that just came out. I actually sat the groups that went through each line and submitted different corrections to the lawmakers. Like that's some big people job, you
Right.
know?
Correct.
So you have access to participate in the shaping and the framing of the industry. Like who doesn't want to have that footprint in the sand? So there is that available to you. And of course, the other things that I think communities offer in general, access to jobs, job postings, and of course, affiliate partnerships. If you are an entrepreneur or even a budding entrepreneur, like your audience in particular,
Yeah.
Caribbean, this is a great place to have a platform.
Right.
So we're going to talk about platforms in a little bit, but really and truly, guys, this is a great place for you to put up your business flag and say, "Hey, I'm over here doing this great thing. Come and work with me. Come and partner with me. Come and buy my stuff. Whichever
Right.
thing we need." So those are just some of the things that we create and make available for persons who choose to become members.
Gotcha. Twitty-Ann, did you want to add to that?
yeah, I mean, what Stacey has said is really reiterate what is it that we're trying to do. I'm not sure if there's any other body such as ours in the Caribbean, but it really provides a platform. I mean, small SMEs are giving the feedback. Nobody would know about my business with aligning with the JTDA or becoming a member. My business is now highlighted, give them a huge platform through the partnership with the Jamaica Observer, which is a local newspaper.
Right.
So getting them highlighted and, persons who are in tech, who have been in tech and helped to shape Jamaica over the last maybe 25, 30 years. Nobody know about them. Tech people are usually, they're very smart. They're very bright. They normally be in their little bubble and they do their work, but nobody knows about them. So
Right.
what the JT does is to highlight those persons that really play a role in shaping Jamaica and the Caribbean, depending on the company that they work with, to make that impact. So what we do is to bring them to the forefront. And as Stacey mentioned, the lobbying on different boards, really to shape the ICT future in Jamaica. So we do have a part to play and a role and a voice in making sure, those things are done. So it is a very powerful alliance, and we're grateful to serve the members of the alliance and Jamaica. So I'm really, really proud to be a part of this organization and really to have a say in tech and to have persons lobby and to put their views forward.
Yeah, that is extremely powerful because I mean, one of the big complaints here in Trinidad is that the young talent, the people that have the ideas, the bright minds are just silenced. They make suggestions, we make a lot of noise, but it all ultimately falls on deaf ears. We're not in the rooms making the policies. And I mean, it's visible because the policies are not being crafted in ways that make sense. And the conversations from the top down are just not happening around technology, around SMEs. When they do talk about it, it's lip service. So what you guys have created over in Jamaica, I think, is definitely a blueprint for other countries throughout the CARICOM region to strive for. All right. So Adrian, now, what do you believe the JTDA membership means? Why does it matter? Why do you think the membership with you guys matters?
I haven't checked with legal about this exactly, but no agree revenue to come with us. Let me just start there. But it's about influence, getting exposed to the community. Switty and Stacey has said. You won't even realize that you have people like-minded like you. You could eventually start a company with people you meet in the JTDA.
Right.
Right? You can access specific skills, individuals that you didn't even know that were in the Caribbean. So I actually went to BizTech. We'll talk about BizTech after. I met people there. I
Right.
got clients there. I got exposure there. There's a lot of value in that. And there are other events that aren't even on air as big as that, but there's a lot of value for your company. So it's
Right.
about learning, it's about growing your company, it's about getting exposure and influencing the Caribbean as a whole. So it's something that doesn't make any sense not to join. We'll just say
Right.
that. It's just about you coming in and then leaving your stamp on things. And we have so many benefits, too many benefits, right? For you as an
Right.
individual and you as a company.
Right.
So, yeah, full pitch. Just join. Just join it.
It's like, why not?
Right.
Why not join?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be able to, I mean, a lot of persons come. Sorry, Keron.
No,
Apologies.
jump in.
A lot of persons complain and they'll be like, okay, the government is putting together this policy and, they don't consult us. So being a member of the JTDA allows you that access to those persons that are creating and for you to be a part of shaping the technology future for Jamaica. So being a part of the JTDA, anybody in tech should be a member of the JTDA. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, it really helps, and for you to really, give your voice or your opinion and your input in stamping the technology future of our country and the wider Caribbean.
Now, I gotta ask: do you guys have a roadmap or a mastermind as to how countries or people outside of Jamaica, how we could form our own alliance to be able to approach the government to try to get on these boards to influence policy? Is there a mastermind group so that you guys could train some of us how to go and talk to them?
Stacey, take that one. Stacey?
Yeah, so, well, truth be told, I actually think that the mastermind exists in the computer society. So I know Trinidad already has a computer society. So I'll just throw that out there. And I'm not au fait with all the different aspects of the progress that they've made so far, especially these days. However, I do know that there is work that's been done or that's being done. I think the mastermind is really a culmination of the different arms that are out there. So one of the things that I think is really critical that has come to the fore through the JTDA, through the Alliance, is this partnership with what used to be the British Computer Society. They're now the IT Institute, IT Chartered Institute, or Chartered Institute of IT Professionals, excuse me, or the BCS, right? And what the BCS did was they approached me during my presidency to talk about, the work that was being done, because of course they're seeing things happening, they're seeing a lot of movements, and they see JTDA all around, and they're like, okay, possibly you guys need support. And that's ultimately what computer societies are out there to do. They're out there to really create the infrastructure for technology professionals to thrive, but also for IT to be good for all, right? That's ultimately what the whole vision is. And so through that conversation with them, I said, I think it's great to start with Jamaica, but ultimately what we want is a Caribbean mastermind.
Right.
We want a Caribbean infrastructure that makes IT good for all. And so that's really where our Member Plus program evolved, and that's what we're actually rolling out. So when you talk about this roadmap, we want to build that through the Member Plus program, because we now have access to more global resources through the BCS.
Right.
And with that support, we are better enabled in building out our own, what I'm calling it infrastructure, but it's really a group of persons working together towards the same vision. Right?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that we got. Go ahead.
Welcome to your Member Plus. What's going on? You're a techie.
Yeah, I was now about to say I'm ready to go and log on right now and start to register. Because as Adrian said, why not? So You guys have been stacking up. The JTDA has been stacking up quite a number of wins as of late. Can you walk us through what are some of those key wins that you guys are super proud about?
Well, I would say that the one that I just mentioned in terms of the partnership with the BCS, because that's an official partnership where we're actively working to make IT good for all across the Caribbean region and really create a more fulsome community
Right.
of IT professionals. So that's one win, right? Another
Right.
win that we're really proud of, and as Adrian said, he's really going to be seeking to move that forward, is really building out support systems for the ecosystem, right? So I strongly believe in the ecosystem model. It's the things that you'll see with like your Airbnb and your Amazon and all these different community. Apple has a really strong ecosystem model. All these different companies in tech are using the ecosystem strategy to spread their tentacles into other industries without necessarily having to switch over, right? I mean,
Right.
when did you? It's not a jewelry company, but yet still they came out with a watch. So
Right.
similarly, our ecosystem is built with different enablers. So we have the public sector enablers, we have the private sector enablers, we have organizations like ours and like the IT, the Institute for Chartered IT Professionals out of BCS. So you have that ecosystem and you have the funding agencies, the donor agencies. Now, how do we bring that all together, or how do we serve that community? Well, the best way to serve that is through tech, right? So we
Right.
have launched two platforms to support that ecosystem. First platform is a marketplace called Go Digital, and it is built with the Digipreneur in mind, right? You have a digital, you have a business, whether it is that you are a tech provider or you are a small, medium-sized business owner, you can go onto this platform and you can connect. It's like Fiverr for the Caribbean, okay?
Okay.
So that platform is there. And we're going to be looking to expand that platform over the next couple of years through the hopeful support of these donor agencies and funding groups. And then the second platform, which I'm really excited about because I think it has so much potential for the Caribbean, is our tech fund, which is a part of the alliance, right? So essentially, what that allows us to do is it allows, whether you're an entrepreneur looking for startup money for your tech company, or you're a
Right.
school looking to connect and get devices, or you have an idea for some kind of solution that is going to solve, climate change, and it's a tech related solution, you can literally use this crowdfunding platform that is specifically targeted for the Caribbean person. So we want just the Caribbean people to have a place that they can go and say, hey, I'm creating this amazing thing. I need your support. Because all the other funding platforms, I mean, who can find you on GoFundMe? So much other things that are going on it, right? So,
Right.
so this platform allows you to have your voice heard, not just by your Caribbean counterparts, your Caribbean community, but also our diaspora, which is huge, millions of people in the
Massive.
diaspora.
Correct.
And so we saw through the pandemic where there were just lots of communities in need, schools in need. And this platform was, in essence, a response to that, and hopefully a place that persons could create support for themselves for tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, Twitty-Ann.
No, no, I was just saying to Stacey, the Tech Alliance fund is very, very powerful. I mean, a lot of persons are not aware of it as yet. We're planning on promoting that a little bit more because, as Stacey said, if you have a startup firm and you're looking for funding, which is the hardest thing to get money from the bank because of the different red tape that they put on for small businesses. So we have a platform here that can get you the funding through persons in Jamaica, either through the government, even the diaspora, to tap into that. So if you're interested in booking or to put your project on the platform, you could reach out to us at the JTDA. We'll assist you with that. So we'd really love to see more persons or SMEs or small any cause with regards to tech or change in tech, just really to list their project on that platform to get the money that they need. And the diaspora is very in tune with what we're doing. and they have money to invest, and they have different things, and we have connection with other groups, such as the Development Bank of Jamaica, which is the bank that is connected with government to provide funding to SMEs and businesses. So putting your project on the Tech Alliance funding platform is really something that, and I don't think a lot of members know that they have access to that. We're planning on making a bigger noise over it so persons are aware that this is something that's available through the JTDA, whether you're a member or not. You don't have to be a member to be listed on the platform.
Right.
We encourage you to be a member, but you don't have to be a member to be listed on the platform. So it's some really cool things. And, Stacey started a lot of these, kudos to her. We are now incoming and to really build on what she has left. And in hearing about these things myself, I was like, whoa, you guys are really doing this. So I'm really, really excited to kind of, pick up where Stacey left off, myself and Adrian and the other executives, to really push these things and really get them into adoption for Jamaica and the wider Caribbean.
Yeah, no, that is big because funding still remains as like one of the kryptonites to anybody building a business and looking to really scale. And even when the diaspora is thinking about, moving back to the Caribbean, a lot of people that I talk to want to move back home. They want to move back. Some people are tired of North America, or they're tired of the UK. They want to come back. But one of the things that is stopping them is they want to feel like they're not going back in time. So we have to invest in companies, invest in projects to bring things up. And unless we do that, some of our best talent isn't looking to return back because they just don't want to start, so far back when it comes to when it comes to just building the society. So the tech fund is great, and I mean I definitely want you guys to make that bigger noise, because again, the more people realize that it's out there, and if the diaspora has the money, if they can invest, let them start being a part of the rebuilding project that's happening in the Caribbean.
Absolutely.
So in moving on from the tech fund, you guys have the Digital Transformation Institute. Can you guys dive into that?
Okay, I'll take that one. So the Digital Transformation Institute is actually a partnership between my company, Epic Transformation, which I launched upon exiting presidency just a couple of months ago. And it's essentially a platform for the Caribbean entrepreneurs to get training. And ultimately, it was the brainchild behind the Transformation Institute was a boot camp that I hosted back in when pandemic just landed, and it's something that we use the JTDA to promote quite heavily to help entrepreneurs, because the pandemic was really that big kind of shock to the chest for many entrepreneurs, right? And they didn't know whether they were coming or going.
Right.
So it was like, how to get these guys from offline to online, and that's literally where Auto Bootcamp came from.
Right.
And from that, I partnered with a company in Canada that is going to be supporting the launch of this platform to allow for us, the JTDA, along with Epic, to put out training content, and even like Adrian's company, Startle Analytics, they have Trainalytics, and they have a lot of courses, tons of content that could also live on the Institute, where persons anywhere can have access to get that training that they need. Because truth be told, Keron, as you know, everything is about the knowledge gap, right? You need to learn, unlearn, relearn in order for us to stay, well, we can't stay ahead of technology anymore, but in order for us to stay abreast of up to date with the technology. And so the Institute is really going to create an opportunity for us to do that, and for our members to enjoy discounts to accessing that training. So it's on demand, available all the time. You don't just go to a conference and you take a class. Oh my God. Right? It's always available, and it's something that through the partnership with the JTDA, we're seeking to ensure we have the certified courses, because people like the certification thing, so it's I think to really be one of the things that will help us to bridge that big divide and be able to take our our entrepreneurial skills to a whole other level.
So that you're talking now, and I was thinking of something, and I want to throw this to Adrian. Adrian, why do you think we are so averse to learning a lot of the new digital skills needed for digital transformation to happen? Because you talk to the average person, when you start thinking digital transformation, they're already signed off. What do you think is going on? Why people are just very risk averse to learning some of these new digital skills so that we could move forward?
I know some of the feedback we've gotten is a fear that you're gonna somehow replace them. That they've been doing something for 15 years, they got it down pat, they're experts at that, have to learn something new. So there's this fear, oh, you're gonna take a young kid and replace me because they're amazing at Fortnite now and all of these things. And that fear, I understand where it's coming from, but with the digital transformation, it's about making your life easier.
Right.
We actually did an experiment a couple of weeks ago. I spent a whole day in the metaverse, VR headset. I need to go to the doctor to see my eyes now because it's like 7-8 hours.
Right.
But basically, my question is this something that you could reasonably do on an ongoing basis? So if you're differently abled or in a situation where you really can't get into an office, can this improve the way you work on a regular basis? And those are the types of things that the JTDA has to not just think about, but tackle. So we have to be the thought leaders for these things. Then to say, oh, does this make sense? Does that make sense? Is this something feasible for us? I admit I found it very easy to do certain types of work in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't imagine doing that longer than maybe 2 hours. I'm scared. But it's just for us to educate them, for them to understand that this is not something that's going to stop you from being able to provide for your family or stop you from progressing through an organization. It doesn't matter how old you are. The idea is this technology can support you. Everyone uses smartphones now. Everyone uses tablets. We're using pretty much the same types of technology. It just depends on how close you are to that level of tech.
Yeah.
So we do also, I believe, our responsibility to educate persons about, no, don't be afraid of digital transformation. It's going to make your life a lot easier.
Yeah, and you know what? I found that coming from Canada, and coming to Trinidad, I've had to deal with this paradox because I've lived my whole life in Canada, and over there the pace is 10 times faster. You need a lot more money, a lot more resources to just survive your day to day. We don't get long vacations. You're getting 2 weeks if you're lucky, 3 weeks if you're seniority. But when we want to slow down, we come to the Caribbean. And we come to the Caribbean because the Caribbean is slower. And the paradox that I've had to kind of balance out is people live in this quote unquote slower pace. And in order for it to remain slower, they're removed a bit. So people do enough education to get into their job, and they get their house, they get their good job, they get their car, and that's it. They don't want to learn no more, right? But now we're being thrusted into this position where the rest of the world, globalization is happening. They're dictating the pace, and we have to keep up. But trying to get people out of that mindset now that you can't just go to school, get your one degree, get your one job, and work that job for the rest of your life and be set. Getting people out of that mindset, I don't have the answer to how we do that because it's generations that we're going up against. What are some ideas that you guys have that could probably just start helping the generations kind of transition out of what we have known for our whole entire life in the Caribbean?
But guess what? So I'm just gonna take this a little bit. So COVID has changed a lot of that. We were forced to digitally transform the way we go to get our food. You have what they call them now. We call it Hugo and Seven Crave, the food delivery companies. We had lockdown for weeks in Jamaica. We had no choice but to use the technology. The government of Jamaica actually has an initiative to get SMEs digitally transformed through the Development Bank of Jamaica. So my company is also involved with the DBJ to kind of provide that. So the persons who are afraid, maybe because they don't know how to do it. So we're actually put programs in place to enable the change, to do it for them. I'm giving you a grant to get this done. So they
Wow.
have grants like would be at a minimum of maybe equivalent to 3,000 US dollars
Yeah.
to get your business online. So create an e-commerce website to do your marketing and promotion, to get your accounting systems online. You're looking at now getting the digital tools to get, so persons are really, really taking that up. So not just us at the JTDA who are, enabling that, but the government is also a part of that digital transformation. So it's not as bad as it used to be. I think
Right.
COVID has changed a lot of that, and also the government has their program to digitally transform the small and medium-sized businesses. So we focus on the business standpoint, and with the business digitally transform, and also the way in which we access, even going to the doctor. You have to go into the doctor, to get your
Right.
eyes checked. Now we're using telemedicine. So now you call into your doctor's office on your laptop or your tablet. You really get your prescription. So to me, I love what COVID has done to digit. I really love it.
That's
Like
the
my
silver
my son
lining.
is
Yeah.
now going to school. He's in his room all day going to college overseas. Like before, you had to go there. You don't have to do that anymore. So I think it has changed since COVID, and I've seen it myself, both at the office, both in which how we interact with the service and goods that we used to access.
Yeah.
Even banking, a lot of banks in Jamaica have actually closed their doors for traditional brick and mortar because of no, they have the terminals for persons to go online. So they're pushing you to go online to get your transaction done. So I think COVID has changed that a lot. I'm not sure what the landscape is in Trinidad at this time, but for Jamaica, I think that in the last 2 years, we are leaps and bounds ahead based on the government initiative and everything else. We're just forced to do it. We had I don't know if you had lockdowns in Trinidad during COVID, but we were locked up for a while and we had no choice but to utilize these services to access our food, to access our daily doctor's visit. No, the government enabling the small businesses to get on there, giving them money. Look, I'm giving you this money. Get your business online, get your processes automated. We don't need persons in the office anymore. And a lot of them are taking it up.
Yeah, I think we in Trinidad, we literally look on and see the initiatives, the announcements, the things that are happening in Jamaica, and we just keep on trying to signal to our leadership, hey, copy their homework. Between Barbados and Jamaica, copy. Just copy it. Bring it here, do something, because for us, we are still in that space where people have just been waiting to just go back to pre-COVID times. And that has been the message that the government has been handing out. We have not been getting the same type of messaging from a Barbados or from a Jamaica in Trinidad, right? Perfect example. Just last week, one of the biggest fintech in the Caribbean, WePay, he was interviewed about the state of doing business in Trinidad. And the headline read that Trinidad has too much red tape, and that has pretty much killed innovation from happening in Trinidad. And he had to move his headquarters to Jamaica, right? So WePay headquarters, which is a Trinidad company, has left Trinidad shores to do everything and work in partnership with the Jamaican government to build WePay because it couldn't be done under Trinidad. And the entire country was in an uproar because how could he say that about his country? But it's the truth. So right before we jumped on to talk, he actually held a press conference to clarify some of the things that he was talking about. And I didn't get to catch it, but I'll see if I can catch the replay. But again, he just painted such a crystal clear, lay of the land for what is happening in Trinidad. And, Jamaica is leaps and bounds ahead, as you said. And I'm glad that the JTDA is spreading across the Caribbean, because if our leadership isn't going to do it, we still have to get access to skills. We still have to get access to groups. We still have to grow. We still have to transform. So partnering and joining organizations like yours is going to be, it's going to be a big step in the right direction. Following that, I wanted to ask you guys, what do you guys feel are some of the key skills that are in need right now for digital transformation that, people listening could start to even, Google, do the research on? Because we're still getting the old school message. Go to school, become a doctor, become a lawyer, become a pilot, but we're not really getting a lot of information about some of the new skills that are needed or some of the new industries. So in your experiences, what are some of the skills that are booming right now that we sorely need in the Caribbean right now?
Well, I can take one. Stacey can take the other, and Adrian. But for me, one of the skills that are leading, and even when I contact like the universities, looking for skills, and they are we are in need of, so everything what you're doing, Keron. That is the big thing right now. Digital marketing. I'm telling you, they now have a course. Persons are now signing up for that through the universities here. They now have that. So digital marketing, to get everything digitized and to get your business online, that's where it's at. If you have a business with that right now and offering it, trust me, you are. So what you are doing, the whole digital aspect of digitizing and marketing your business, e-commerce, putting your business online, that's where it's at this time.
Yeah.
Stacey?
I was gonna have Adrian go,
Okay.
but so largely because so I sit on a government task force that is focused heavily on digital services, so that we can export our services, because I think that's also something that is a huge opportunity for the Caribbean. And so with that external, that global outlook, the roles, so to speak, that are in high demand are both in the knowledge process outsourcing area as well as in the information technology outsourcing. So you're talking about in the ITO, you're talking about cybersecurity is huge, right? Quality assurance, QA testers, huge. Technology project managers. Do you realize that everywhere in the world is going through transformation? Them need
Yeah.
Digital
somebody from
transformation, exactly.
right? So the technology project managers, and of course, once you need a project manager, you need several business analysts. So tech analysts, engineers, web developers. We kind of talked about the e-commerce. A huge part of what's
Right.
missing in the e-com space is just having persons to support that website, and it goes on from there, But the only other piece that I would say that I think is a huge missing, even here in Jamaica, is the mindset for digital. You can learn till thy kingdom come. If you do not have a digital mindset and a digital culture, it ain't happening.
Bravo. Yeah. Yeah. Adrian shaking his head. Adrian, talk to us.
Yeah, well, I covered everything, so I guess I'll focus on the skills.
Yeah.
Even though we're talking about technology and digital transformation, yeah, you have to be able to manage yourself and manage your project. Like Stacey said, you have to be able to be creative. Content creators are so important.
Creative industry.
I have staff that don't have degrees, and because I don't need a degree to do specific jobs, you can learn what you need to learn if you really want to do it, right? So it's more the soft skills, in my opinion,
Okay.
allow you to be diverse, to change professions. I've probably changed professions like 3 times, and the ability to solve problems. I think that's extremely important. So create content, be creative, problem solve, and be able to actually manage yourself, project management. Those 3 things. I think if you find somebody who has all 3, next billion, in fact.
Keep them.
That's a
Yeah.
fact. That's a fact. I remember. I think I've been blessed that my first real job, I like to say, when I turned 18, was working on a telecoms company in Canada, and the internal motto of the company was embrace change. That was what was plastered across all the HR books. Embrace change, embrace change, embrace change. And I never really took it in or really internalized it until I'm working in the smartphone industry, and smartphones are changing all the time. The prices, the rules, everything is changing all the time. So I remember coming in where after like my first 2 months on the job, or no, not even 2 months, it was like my first month, I had the specs of every phone, I had the plans, I had everything written, I had everything memorized. I had my flow, I'm new, I'm like, I'm good. I finally came in confident. And I remember just walking in and seeing all of the signage change, all the plans change, phones, end of life, removed from, and I'm like, but where are these phones going? They're still good. And like, nope, new phones coming in, new plans have just rolled out, and I'm like, but I've just memorized everything from since the start. And my manager's like, let me come to the back. And he opened up the HR book and he's like, you see this? Embrace change. He's like, don't fight it. Embrace it. Because once it's gone, it's gone. We are moving forward and things change. So, and I just got so accustomed that things just change in that tech space so much, so fast. You just never, you never get accustomed. You never get comfortable. So when change happens, you just roll with it. And then coming out to the Caribbean now, where, like I said, we're so accustomed to stability. Things don't change too often. Now we are thrusting everybody into warp speed, into the digital age. And Stacey-Ann said it. Stacey, I blended Twitty-Ann and Stacey. Stacey said it, where she's like, having the digital mindset. Because if you don't have that mindset, the skills almost do not matter. I 100% agree. All right. So, do we have any closing remarks? Well, before we get to closing remarks, what about BizTech? What's happening with BizTech this year? What's happening with BizTech?
I was about to say, BizTech is happening. It's on and popping in November. Dates and such will be released very soon. Save the date and early bird, tickets and all these things.
Yes.
I'm really pumped about what we're gonna create this year, because last year was or actually the year before that, I think, was the first time we really made the push to get other Caribbean leaders on.
Right.
And in 2021, last year's, my big dream was to have a fireside chat with Mia Motley. If she watches this, I'm gonna come back here. I'm gonna write to you again. I wrote, I called, I stalked that office. Okay. Yeah. Ultimately, I couldn't get on her calendar. It was the same time where all of that American greetings and all that kind of stuff was happening.
Right.
But I really think that this year is another opportunity for us to extend the invitation to our Caribbean leaders. I would love to have the transformation minister on from Trinidad to come and address some of these concerns persons have. I would love to have our St. Lucia, our Grenada, our Guyana, it's for us to start creating these conversations on a Caribbean scale. It's not just when you have, the IADB rolling in that everybody should get together.
Right.
This is a community that wants to know. These are the people that the policies matter to.
Right.
So BizTech is going to be that stage this year. This year is Knowledge Forum year, where usually you have a lot of training along with the big conference.
Right.
And so aside from people being able to learn about digital culture and hang out on the Transformation Institute, we're really looking to see that thought leadership. Where are we headed in the Caribbean? Where are these leaders taking us? That's what I'm looking forward to the most. I'll be quiet now.
So the theme this year, Keron, is creating a sustainable digital future. That's the theme this year for BizTech.
I like that name.
Digital future. So that is where it's at. So we are aligned. We are looking forward to this. The government is clearly on board with regards to digital transformation. So we are here for it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Adrian, did you have anything to go ahead?
Yeah, it's gonna be an experience. I'll say that. This is
Yeah, now
about
that everybody's inside, so no, we're not. Last year we did a virtual forum. Now, the country's open back up, so we're going to be outside. So it's going to be huge this year and very, very, very exciting. And we're looking, as Stacey said, to invite other persons from other Caribbean markets, other leaders to be a part of this tech this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to book my ticket. My birthday's in
Yeah.
December, and I plan to be eating jerk chicken on a beach. So I might just have to book it a little bit earlier and come in.
Nice.
Yep.
Wonderful. So as we wrap up, I want you guys to give your final reason as to why you want the SMEs to jump on the JTDA website and join the membership program. Give us your final reason and thoughts on joining the JTA as we come to a close.
Mr. President.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Prezi.
we're always good first. So you know, Adrian.
So, quick backstory. Grew up in Jamaica, love Jamaica. But if I had an organization like this that I could actually go to and learn, I would probably have a Nobel Prize by now. Maybe. Listen, the idea with the JTDA is provide these MSMEs an understanding of what they can do, the technology they can actually access to. And the big thing is we put our money and our time where our mouth is about being as practical as possible to help these businesses. Not about just telling you 5 steps or whatever. It's guiding it a better future for your organization. Something again sustainably in a digital economy, in a global economy, and allowing you to support your clients, yourself, your family.
That's good.
Love it. And where do we go to register?
JTDA.org.
Wonderful. So I'm going to have that linked in the show notes so people can go and they can click on it. And if you're watching over on YouTube, you're going to be able to see that in the description as well. We'll link that for you guys to go and register. So, Adrian, Twitty-Ann, Stacey, I just want to thank you for coming in and having a conversation with us, the Digipreneur family. This was very enlightening. Again, these are some initiatives that we need, especially the Alliance Fund. I can't tell you how much that is needed because for me, that's one of the top questions I get asked. And I'm constantly trying to show people, how to start their business if you can't get the funding. What are different elements that we can do of the business if you don't get the funding? But the reality is, I'd rather them have the funding and go forth and build what they want to build, right? No. All right, so thank you guys for coming and talking to us. I'll have your links to your LinkedIn profile. So if anybody has any questions and they want to reach out to you, you guys will be able to go and check out their LinkedIn profiles, shoot them a message. We'll link the JTDA website so you can check it out and the membership program. And that is it for us for Digipreneur Live. Thank you guys for listening in. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Jump over on social media. I'm over at Instagram, TikTok. We've been TikToking a while now. LinkedIn, Facebook at Keron Rose. Don't forget to check out the Digipreneur.fm website. And to continue to learn about building your digital presence and monetizing, check out the KeronRose.com website. That's it from us. Everybody have yourself a wonderful evening. Take care.
Thanks, Keron. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.